If you have been feeling like you can't think, you can't focus, maybe you're now thinking there's something wrong with my brain and I just can't get back to my old self, then this video is for you, and let's talk about brain fog. Now, you're not going to go to your doctor and come out with a diagnosis of brain fog, but let's explain what it is. It is generally this sense that it's very difficult to think, very difficult to concentrate. I've had it described from clients that it feels like they're kind of wading through a fog, trying to get to the right word, trying to remember where they put something, or even try to remember words when they're giving a presentation. You can also sometimes feel like you're just mentally not on your game. You're slow to respond with things. Sometimes you're not really processing. Somebody can say something to you and you'll forget it 2 seconds later. And I have to say, I see this a lot. It is fairly common, especially in those clients who are feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, burned out, and overall just fatigued. Now, where does brain fog come from? Well, it actually can have a variety of origins, making it a little bit hard to treat sometimes. In addition to brain fog occurring when you are really stressed out, I also see it in things like underlying infection, autoimmune conditions, chronic fatigue, toxin exposure, food sensitivities, food allergies, overall systemic inflammation, nutritional deficiencies, leaky gut, depression, concussion, medications, and lack of sleep. So there is an entire slew of things that could be causing this brain fog. So we know what it is, we know what can cause it, but how the heck do we work through it and how do we figure it out? The first thing I recommend is going back to basics, and that's working on the 4 pillars, which are sleep, your mindset, your nutrition, as well as your exercise. Well, why sleep? This is where our brain is literally resetting itself along with our nervous system. Our glymphatic system, which is our lymphatic system of our brain, is literally flushing out our brain. We're cleaning out unused proteins or fragments of proteins. We're secreting hormones like growth hormone, and we are literally consolidating memories as we sleep. So sleep is so important. If you're not sleeping, you're not going to function and you're not going to think very well, period. You may ask, why nutrition? Well, with our nutrition, this is where we're making sure we're getting the macronutrients, the micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals to actually fuel our brain, to help with our nervous system, to make sure that we have a healthy microbiome so that our gut-brain axis is working well. There is a whole system of how the gut influence the brain and the brain influences the gut. A lot of times if your nutrition is off, you will feel like you're in a fog. It can even lead to things like depression. Why exercise? Of course, exercise helps with our circulation. It gets our body moving. It also helps with our brain secreting feel-good hormones as well. And of course, working with your mindset is also important. When you are working with your mindset, when you're doing things like meditation, you're making yourself more resilient to stress. You're tapping into your parasympathetic nervous system. You're kind of shutting off, or I shouldn't say shut off, you're tampering down the response of the sympathetic nervous system. When your sympathetic nervous system is in control or dominant, that is not the time to think. That is not the time to create new memories. That is the time to run away or to hide or to freeze. So working with these 4 basic principles, troubleshooting these, getting these on track is kind of the basis or the first step in really starting to work with brain fog or decrease those symptoms of brain fog. The second thing, which is also just as important, is to actually understand and then correct any underlying imbalances that are contributing. So that list I mentioned before, things like infection, autoimmune conditions, etc., you've got to get these under control and you've got to treat these underlying causes. Once these are rectified, then you will start to think and feel a lot better. You'll start to have a lot more mental clarity, a lot more energy, a lot better memory, and improved concentration. So how do you do this? One of the ways I love to do this, and this is exactly what I do with my clients, is that we look at functional lab tests. We look to see, is inflammation one of the problems? Where is the inflammation coming from? Is it coming from your gut because you have a microbiome imbalance? Do you have a food sensitivity or a food allergy that we need to work with? Are you having a lot of oxidative stress, which I can see on an organic acids test? In which case, we would then need to help you supplement with maybe it's B vitamins that your body is burning through. Maybe you're not getting enough fatty acids or healthy omega fats. Or maybe you're having some sort of toxin exposure, in which case we need to get to the root and remove that toxin and help to support your body in detoxification pathways. So it's so important not only to work on the basics, but then to actually discover what is the cause, what is behind this, and then that is what is going to really help to remove the brain fog. You can't just throw Well, you could, but I would find it a ways to throw random supplements or random treatments at the problem when you haven't understood what the root cause is. And this is why I love functional medicine so much. I could go on and on, but I'm going to stop. If you have any questions about these functional tests or about brain fog or how you find the underlying cause, you can learn how to work with me inside of my program, The Better Health Blueprint. You can click on the link down in the description box and you can learn how to work with me and learn more about the program. All right. I hope that this video was helpful and that you learned something, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.